Ted Turner has died, the media mogul, founder of CNN, um, best known as well for his role, maybe not best known for his role, but also known for his role with the Atlanta Braves and influence all over the state of Georgia and then all over America and then all over the world. I wanted to say just a few things about Ted Turner, the effect he had on the media landscape as a whole. But also, I feel as though he really exemplified the American entrepreneur. And I know maybe people will say, oh, well, Ted Turner was a liberal, or Ted Turner was this, or he was arrogant, or whatever. But I think there is sort of an American icon phenotype. I don't know if phenotype is the right word, but a prototype, let us say, an American original, maybe the word for it, of this daring, risk taking, bold entrepreneur. We still have these people, Elon Musk and I guess Bezos to an extent, and people like that. But Ted Turner had a big personality, and he was in so many ways, as I say, an American original. And I have talked a little bit about this on my live streams, but there is something about the American consciousness and the American psyche and the zeitgeist of America that really produces a lot of cowboy entrepreneur types. And it goes along with the American culture of risk taking and optimism and creativity, ingenuity, business sense, financial dreams that people have here. And Ted Turner really went after it and really took a risk and really pioneered the way cable news is today. A lot of obviously millennials and people under maybe the age of 35 do not watch cable news, so they may not appreciate um, the extent to which Ted Turner made an impact. But before CNN, there was really no such thing as 24/7 news. Um, my generation grew up with this, so we think this is just like a normal thing. 24/7 news was not a normal thing before Ted Turner came along, and he had this idea that he was going to create a network that did just that. It didn't just give you the 6 o'clock news; it gave you the news all day long. And CNN also came along at the right time because that's when technology had gotten to the point where you could cover wars. You could have cameramen and women and operators in the up in the mountains of Afghanistan and wherever you need them to be overseas. You could see wars up close, and you could literally watch wars on TV. I remember my parents telling me that the Gulf War was the first war that was televised, and that was like maybe a little bit shocking to people or crazy for people. But Ted Turner really created the media landscape that we have lived in for the last probably 40 or so years. Now, of course, that era um, is passing away, just like Ted Turner did today. But the impact it has had, I mean, think about this for a second. Ted Turner had an idea that he was going to create a 24/7 news channel. And now you can go in any hotel anywhere in the world, and that hotel TV is going to have CNN. You could almost guarantee it. Almost anywhere in the world you can be, and you can check into a hotel or Airbnb or what have you. You can walk into an airport, and CNN is going to be on one of those TVs. Now, of course, we could debate about whether that's a good thing or bad thing. CNN's very political now. CNN has a certain political bent, an opinion of the current president, and whatever. I don't want to talk about that right now. I just want to talk more about the impact that Ted Turner had on on the whole media landscape and the whole consciousness of the nation and the world, and sort of link it into American entrepreneurism, American risk takers. And he was one of those people. He was one of those men who just, he had charisma, he had gumption, he had creativity, he had ideas, and he went after it, and he took action, and he did it, and he should be commended for that. And I'm not an expert on his life or anything like that, but when I saw the news today that he had passed, it was like, I don't know, I felt not impacted by it, but I felt a little bit like it was the end of an era, like the cable news era, as I say, is also passing away. Um, but it is undeniable the effect that he had and the influence he had, and the media world that he created. And that is what is unique to the American entrepreneur. They do not just create businesses and become successful. They are pioneers. They change the entire game. You can say what you want about Mark Zuckerberg. He changed the way people communicate. He, in a way, created the social media universe. Jeff Bezos created the way we buy things online, a new way. Elon has dipped his foot into so many areas. He's done the same thing in social media that he has done in aerospace and all that. So, and then the automotive industry, of course. But these are primarily men who come from the United States of America. There is something about the culture here. There is something about, I don't really want to say the system, but I've talked a lot about this recently. There is a certain entrepreneurial culture here. There is an achievement culture. There is a striving culture. And that can be a good thing or a bad thing. There are negative attributes to it as well. But I was watching some old clips of Ted Turner, and it was like they don't really make them like that anymore. There are a few people who you see who may remind you of him, but he seemed to have the whole package. He had the charisma, he had the business sense, he had the, as I say, the gumption, the chutzpah, if you will, to go out there and just create something new out of nothing, like create his own empire. So yeah, I mean, look, him passing away is the end of an era, really. I think it's a very appropriate bookend to the end of cable news. But man, did it have a run. We've gone through 30 or 40 years of just 24/7 news cycle, and think of what came after CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and that's just political commentary. You have BBC News, it's just around the clock news. And nobody really wants to watch round the clock news, but everyone does go to CNN when they need to know what's going on. Even in a household that may watch Fox or something, maybe you have boomer parents who watch Fox News. They're probably going to turn on CNN if they want to hear about what's a world crisis or something happens, or what the plane disappears, or whatever it happens to be. And I think throughout my life, about 9/11, CNN, I remember CNN being on for days and days on end after 9/11. Elections, world events, historic happenings, tragic happenings, everything. You always go to CNN for that breaking news. It's just, you may not like the commentators on there, you may not like the direction the channel, the network went, but you always kind of went there. And that's what Ted Turner created. So it's interesting to study his life, and his famous quote, "Early to bed, early to rise, work like hell and advertise." Something to think about. I definitely am not early to bed. I am early to rise, but I'm not early to bed. I try and work like hell, and one day, Lord willing, on this YouTube channel, I will advertise. Rest in peace, Ted Turner. One heck of a life.